Following a technical problem with the software of an external service provider that instructs the officials as to which teams are eligible to play each other, a material error occurred in the draw for the UEFA Champions League round of 16. Those the official words from UEFA this Monday lunchtime as they announced that the draw for the Champions League round of 16 will take place again at 2 o'clock after the initial draw has been declared void. It all surrounds Manchester United and a ball that came out when perhaps it shouldn't have done. Was it put back in the pot for the ensuing draw, and therefore did the draw end up in a way it shouldn't have done? Well, UEFA have responded. Technical problem, software, external service provider, material error. Sue, make sense out of that one.
Wow. It's just a huge, huge error.
Went to VAR, didn't we?
Yeah, I think they needed VAR.
Incredible.
There, but it's just incredible that you cannot believe that that's happened. You can understand from a Manchester United perspective, they will have felt that something was wrong. We spoke about it as it was happening. I know you were trying to make sense of it. So you can understand Manchester United, obviously drawing PSG, it's going to be a difficult tie, a 50-50 game there. So you can understand why they would complain if that's what's happened. But from a Chelsea perspective, who's got probably the best draw that they could have hoped for, if it now gets redone, which it's going to at 2 o'clock, and they then go and get Bayern Munich, you'd be furious, wouldn't you? So massive, massive error.
Yeah, and after the weekend we've had, I was half expecting Toto Wolff and Mercedes Barrister to turn up at UEFA. And I mean, it seems to be that sort of weekend, Stephen, doesn't it?
I feel for the fans who've already booked flights.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of fans who will have straight away been waiting for that to come out. They'll have their computer in front of them and they will have been getting flights as quick as they can, as cheap as possible. And now what happens there? They're left with flights. It's simply, it's incredible, isn't it? I mean, we just did not expect something like that to happen at this draw.
Because the ramifications, you say, is huge. Let's pick out two ties. Liverpool got Salzburg, which they would be kind of happy with. But more keyly, Chelsea got Lille against the odds because the options available to them were very minimal. Ajax, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, the other options available, and they got Lille. The likelihood of Lille coming out against Chelsea in the next round and the amount of money involved in this to go through to the next stages, if they got a Bayern Munich and went out, or they got a Real Madrid and went out, or an Ajax 100% in their group and Allaire scoring goals for fun, you can understand the consternation over this, can't you?
Definitely. And with, the likelihood of Chelsea drawing Lille again is very slim, like you say. So the ramifications are huge from a Chelsea perspective because, yes, we know that we said Lille can be a dangerous side and, we spoke about the positives from them, but it's the side that Chelsea would have wanted. So now if they go and draw one of the other three, especially if it's Bayern Munich, then it's just awful, isn't it? It shouldn't happen. No,
and forgive me, I'm still trying to work out exactly what a technical problem, software, external service provider, material error is. But if we're balancing this up, actually, you've got to say, OK, UEFA put their hands up and said there was a mistake made. They've rectified it almost immediately, but they've gone, hang on a second. We got a problem, and they have addressed it straight away. So if we're balancing it up, anyone can make a mistake, and therefore, do we have to say, OK, full credit to UEFA, they've identified it's happened, and they're now going to rectify it. That's the other side of the coin.
Very generous with that.
I like to be.
No, I understand that, but how many practices do we see of draws? We hear about them constantly, and what teams were drawn against who. You've got to make sure this is seamless and make sure that it's done perfectly. I don't think it's that complicated, if I'm being completely honest. Why you have to rely on a computer to do it is beyond me. But listen, they've made a mistake. They have tried to correct it, but it should never have got to this situation. Sue?
I have to agree, and they're saying it's an external problem. But yeah, the fact that when a draw takes place, there is lots of practices before that to make sure that on the day it does run seamless. And yes, of course, you know, we all make errors, but this has got like implications for a lot of different clubs. Yes,
£1 million consequences.
Yes, yeah. So
Huge,
yes, Manchester United will feel aggrieved with the draw because of what had happened. They didn't think that it had gone right, so you can understand that. But from the other teams that are quite happy with their draws, they're thinking, wow, so it's going to be so interesting watching the draw at 2:00.
Yeah, and I think where the problem occurred from was the Villarreal draw.
Yes.
Man United were pulled out, which of course they couldn't face, and whether the ball was back in time for the Bayern Atletico Madrid draw, and whether Manchester United had gone back in there. So it could have been Atletico Madrid, Manchester United is the argument, but Atletico Madrid got Bayern Munich. So if you're Atletico Madrid, you're kind of happy. Who knows? I don't think anyone's happy, I think is the upshot of that one.